I'm about to show you the top simple Claude AI service businesses that almost nobody's talking about. And these are real services that you can start this week to make your first $1,000 with Claude AI. And this is coming from someone who's made over $10 million from YouTube, mostly selling service businesses. And I own a YouTube channel with over 1.5 million subscribers. And my clients have collectively generated over $100 million in results. So I'm not guessing here. I've watched hundreds of normal people turn a simple skill into real income. And the businesses that I'm about to show you are some of the easiest on-ramps I've ever seen. So the tool is not the hard part anymore. Claude does the heavy lifting for you. You just have to pick a lane and go. So whether you're starting from zero or you already run a business and you want to add a new income stream, then this is going to be for you. And if you appreciate me making this type of content and you want to see me make more of it in the future, then go ahead and cheers that like button and let's dive into it right now. All right, so number one is going to be the brain in a box. So this is custom Claude buildouts, and it honestly might be the single best one on the entire list. Now, here's what it is. Every business owner has a brain full of stuff, right? How they answer customer questions, their pricing, their process, their tone, the 500 things that only they know, and the things that just need to get done on their team by other people, but sometimes other people leave or you have to onboard new people, et cetera, et cetera. But the problem is that brain is stuck inside of one person's head. It can't answer emails at 2 a.m., it can't train the new hire, and it can't be in two places at once. So what you can do is build them a second brain. You take everything they know, their docs, their SOPs, their FAQs, their best email responses, their brand voice, their story, their visual assets like B-roll of them doing stuff or pictures of them, et cetera, et cetera. That's especially good, by the way, if you make content. And then you load it into Claude, and now they've got a custom AI assistant that knows their business cold and works 24/7. Now, here's the part that the AI gurus will not tell you because they want this to seem super complicated so that they can sell you a course. You usually do not need to use code for this stuff, right? You don't necessarily need to use Claude code. For a ton of these that I'm going to be talking about, you can build the whole thing inside of a Claude project, which is basically a custom workspace where you upload the business's knowledge and you give Claude its instructions, and that's it. And we have literally found that in a lot of cases, a simple Claude project works better than the fancy coded version. And I'm not even kidding here. Literally, in many cases, a Claude project, or in some cases, a Claude skill, will literally work better than Claude code. So think of it like hiring an employee who shows up already knowing everything about the business on day one and never ask for a raise. Now, this can be useful for so many different things, but one of the most useful things is instead of the employees bugging the business owner, asking them a million questions, or the business owner just having to do everything themselves, the employees can then ask the AI version of the business owner first. And one thing this helps tremendously with, for instance, is onboarding, right? You might be onboarding an employee and you want them to take over some sort of task that the business owner does, and 95% of that stuff they can just ask the AI for. They don't have to ask the business owner directly. And of course, if you save business owners time, money, or you make them more money, they're gonna pay you for that. So let's talk money, because that's why you're here after all, right? People are charging anywhere from $500 to $5,000 just to set one of these up, and then $200 to $1,000 a month to maintain it, recurring every single month. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind is you do not price the work, right? You don't price it based on how many hours it took you to make it. You price it based on the value that it generates the client. So if your little Claude setup saves a business owner 10 hours a week and a part-time salary, charging them $1,000 a month isn't expensive, it's a steal, and they would be dumb to say no. Now, here's how to start this week, right? Pick one type of business that you already understand, right? So a gym or a dentist's office or a real estate office. If you don't understand any businesses, that honestly, it's probably a good idea to just contact somebody in your family or reach out through your network and just see if anybody owns a business and ask them if you can just do this for them for free in exchange for a testimonial. Then you want to go into Claude, start a new project, and load it with that industry's common FAQs and a sample of how they'd want to sound. Then build one demo and walk into that local business and show them the demo answering their own customer questions. That demo can be your entire sales pitch. Hey, quick break. I'm going to be doing a live training this week on how to start a YouTube channel step-by-step for beginners. This is going to be for people who want to start a channel, but they don't know what niche to pick, what videos to make, or how to actually get started the right way. And it's a completely free training, no strings attached. In fact, I'm giving away even more bonuses at the training. So just as an example, I'm going to be giving away my niche validator. This is going to be available both for ChatGPT as well as Claude, which is a super valuable piece of software where you can finally figure out what the best niche for you is. So do not miss out on this training. Make sure you sign up for it down in the description and the pinned comment below, because you only get it if you join the training. So if you don't join now, you might miss it. But that being said, in the workshop, you'll get to meet me and you'll get to ask me questions directly. So I look forward to seeing you in there. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below, put it in your calendar. And if for whatever reason you missed out on it or you weren't able to attend, make sure you still click that link, because we might be having workshops in the future as well, and you'll be the first to know about it. So yeah, hope to see you there. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. And this brings us to business number 2, which I call the boring gold mine. And this is SOP and process documentation. Now, if you don't believe me that businesses are paying a bunch of money for this, MIT and McKinsey actually recently did some studies where they talked about this, and they showed that the highest ROI types of AI implementation projects typically had to do with back office, boring, repetitive work. And most of the time when they tried to do sexy implementation projects, for instance, replacing a company's marketing team, it failed catastrophically. Plus, when you're targeting boring stuff like this, there's way less competition because, let's be honest, nobody wants to do the boring work. So if you didn't know what SOPs stand for, that stands for Standard Operating Procedures. And this is basically the step-by-step playbooks that a business needs so that any employee can do the task right away, every single time, without the owner standing over their shoulder. And here's the thing about SOPs. Every business owner knows that they need them, and almost none of them have actually written them. Why? Because it's super tedious, right? It's very time consuming, and it's the most I'll get to it next month task on the planet. Spoiler, they pretty much never get to it, or they make SOPs that suck. So you do it for them, you hop on a call, you record the owner walking through how they do something, you feed that recording to Claude, and Claude turns the messy ramble into a clean, organized, professional procedure. And you just unlocked a service that businesses genuinely value, and you barely had to write a word yourself. So think about it like turning your grandma or your mom's a pinch of this and a handful of that cooking into an actual recipe, so that any cook in a kitchen can make the dish exactly the same way. That's what an SOP does for a business. And when it comes to money, an owner's own time to write a first batch of these is easily $500 to $750 in lost hours. And that's if they ever do it in the first place. And freelancers charge anywhere from about $30 on the low end to a couple $100 per document. And a full SOP library for one company is a multi-document project. So stack a few clients and this quietly becomes very real money. So here is how to start. Reach out to one small business owner that you know who has even a couple of employees. Offer to document their single most annoying, most repeated process for free as a sample. Record them explaining it, run it through Claude, hand them a clean SOP, and when they see how good it looks, that's when you say, I can do this for your whole business. Now, pro tip on this one, of course, Claude is incredible for doing this. However, if there's something more complicated where you need to make video SOPs, there's a really cool tool called Tango. My friend Matt, who's an absolute AI genius, showed me this, and it's kind of like Loom, but on steroids, and it's for SOPs. So you can basically make video SOPs if there's something that you need to show somebody that's sort of visual, and a Google Doc just won't get the work done. All right, so number 3 is what I like to call the ghost inbox, and this is done for you newsletter ghostwriting. Now, there are tons of business owners out there, like online business owners, coaches, consultants, founders, but also local experts as well. And they have large email lists, and they know that they should be sending a regular newsletter to their audience because email is one of the most proven marketing channels, right? They say that you get about $38 for every $1 that you spend on email marketing, which is one of the highest that you can possibly get. The only thing that's higher than that is probably making content. And there's lots of business owners out there that have large email lists and they never send emails to them. Actually, I would say the majority of business owners have large email lists and they pretty much never send emails to their audience, which is absolutely insane because emails print money. But the problem is a lot of the time these people will try to hire somebody else to write the emails and it just doesn't sound like them. It doesn't really feel authentic to them. And so they just decide, you know what? I don't have enough time to do it myself, but if I hire somebody else to do it, it doesn't sound like me. So I'm just not going to do it at all. And you are the fix. The deal is dead simple. You interview them for about 20 minutes a month, or they can even just send you a quick voice memo of their ideas. And then you feed that to Claude with the right prompts and out comes 4 polished newsletters in their voice. They never have to write a word. They just hit send. So think of it like a session musician, right? The star's name is on the album, but a hired pro is the one actually laying down the track in the star style. Nobody in the audience knows or cares, they just love the music. And this is actually very, very common in the music industry. And the money here is great, right? Freelancers charge roughly $500 to $1,500 for a single newsletter edition. Agencies that run the whole thing typically charge $3,000 to $10,000 a month. And they can do this because newsletters absolutely print money. The business owner is going to immediately see higher levels of revenue when you start sending out these newsletters. And they might be only spending 20 minutes or an hour a month for you to do this for them. So it's a no-brainer for them to let you do this. Now, here's how to start. Find one person who has an audience but isn't emailing them, right? Like a coach or a local expert or an agency owner, right? Somebody with a following that's going cold. Then offer to write their next newsletter for free, ask for a 15-minute voice memo, or if they have any content online, just take some of their content and turn it into a great email with Claude and then send it back. And then when it lands, you pitch a monthly rate. All right, next is what I like to call the echo engine. This is basically repurposing video content like YouTube videos or podcasts onto all different platforms, right? So podcasts and creators pour hours into one episode and then it just sits there. And most of them just simply don't have time to turn it into show notes or turn it into clips or social posts or a newsletter or a blog post that would actually get seen and then send more people back to the podcast. Why? Because repurposing is tedious and time consuming. Noticing a theme on this list? Boring, tedious, time consuming stuff. A lot of the time the money is in the boring, tedious stuff that nobody wants to do, but they know that they should be doing it. So you can take one episode of a podcast or a YouTube video from someone who already has a larger following and you feed Claude the transcript and it spits out the SEO show notes, a batch of short clip ideas with the best quotes, a newsletter summary, a blog post, and a pile of social captions. One piece of content can become 10 or even 100 in some cases. And then you can either sell with that content or you can just point the viewers back to the original podcast or the original YouTube video so that it gets more views. So you can kind of think of it like a butcher with one whole cow, right? From that single animal, you get steaks, burgers, ribs, roasts, a dozen different cuts that each can get sold separately. One episode, but many different cuts of content. Now, this can be a per episode service or a monthly retainer. And since most YouTube channels or podcasts publish every single week, or at least they should be publishing every single week, it's recurring by nature. So lock in a few creators and you've got a predictable income on autopilot. So here is how to start. Pick one small podcast that you like. Then grab the transcript of their latest episode. The auto transcript is fine. Run it through Claude and create a full set of show notes plus 5 social posts. Send it to the host for free with "Love this episode, made you these. I can do it for every single one." Now, Claude can do a lot of the heavy lifting, especially on the written posts, but there's also a lot of great tools out there, such as Opus Clips, that can turn those larger episodes into smaller clips. And it's really good at actually spotting the wow moments within the episode and then turning that into a clip. And then it even automatically captions it and everything. It's a really great tool. But the vast majority of creators do not know about these tools, and that is an information gap, and you can go in there, you can use these tools, and you can create a lot of value for them. For instance, my client Felix, who we help scale all the way up to a multi-8-figure business, is a master of doing this. He's a master of using YouTube primarily as the mother platform, but then syndicating that content to a lot of different platforms as well. And this is one of his secrets that literally caused him to be the #1 channel in his niche or sub-niche. And that brings us to the last one on the list, which is literally just starting your own personal brand. Because the thing is, literally any service business out there is going to work and work incredibly well if you're getting inbound leads, aka warm traffic coming from people who discovered you from social media, and specifically YouTube, because it's the most powerful platform by far. And if you don't believe me, listen to Alex Hormozi. Right, so let's watch this clip really quick.
The YouTube gets the highest praise in the internet ecosystem and gets the S tier ranking, because this is where I'm doubling down and continuing to pour more and more resources because this is where I'm getting the best returns.
Right? Straight from the horse's mouth. So what I recommend that you do is you use YouTube as your mother platform, because YouTube is where people go for long form content, and long form content is where the money's at. Remember this because this is incredibly important. Short form content gets you views and attention, but long form content actually makes you money. So use YouTube as the mother platform, and then you can syndicate your content to the other platforms and even send views back to your YouTube channel, which will then get converted converted into actual customers. Now, one thing I want to mention is it really doesn't matter what type of business you're doing, right? So it could be an AI business where you're literally just doing AI stuff like this, or it could just be a normal business where you integrate AI into it. But I'm finding right now that the businesses that integrate AI into their normal business, whether it's in the business itself or in their marketing or in how they help their customers, are doing way better than the businesses that don't. Like, customers want to hear that you are an AI forward company. They're way more likely to buy your products and services if they know that you are. Now, if you're confused about what niche to pick on YouTube, either you don't know what niche to pick, or you have a niche, but you really don't feel very confident about it, like you want to dial it in, maybe you want to expand out, or maybe you want to niche down even further, that's exactly what we're going to be going over in our live training that we're doing this week. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below to attend that. I'm going to be teaching you how to build a personal brand on YouTube and how to pick the right niche as well. And I'll actually be giving away an AI tool called the Niche Validator, which is a Claude skill that we made based off of thousands of hours of coaching people on picking the right niches for them. And we're going to make this available to you completely free at this live training. So do not miss out on it. Click that link in the description in the pinned comment below. And we'll also be giving away another Claude AI skill that helps you figure out how to monetize your YouTube channel if you're not sure how to monetize it correctly. Plus, we're going to go over step by step exactly how to start on YouTube, exactly how to treat it like a business so you can actually get customers and clients from it. And I'll answer any questions that you have about it at the end. So do not miss out on it. Click that link in the description in the pinned comment below to attend. Now, these free resources like my videos as well as my live trainings are as good as it gets. With that being said, if you want one-on-one help, if you want us to literally do it with you or actually just do it for you, then go ahead and book a call by clicking the link in the description in the pinned comment below. And this is where we literally one-on-one help you build out your YouTube channel, or we literally just do it for you. And now this is only for very serious people who want to grow and make money on YouTube, people who want to treat YouTube like a business. We only accept about 18% of people who apply, and we're only accepting about 3 to 5 people right now. Right? So only apply if you're very serious about growing and making money on YouTube. The types of people that we typically work with are going to be business owners, of course, lots of different online business owners, but some types of localized business owners as well, like law firms, financial advisors, cosmetic dentists, realtors, and insurance agents, that kind of business, right? Then the second type of person we work with are people who are getting a lot of views on YouTube, but they're struggling with monetization. Then the third type of person is the YouTuber who is crushing it, but they want to crush it even harder. And the fourth type of person is someone who just wants to treat YouTube like a business, typically somebody who is an expert, right? They have some experience, they have problems that they've solved in their life, and they have a lot of value to give to the world. So an example of a business owner would be my client Thomas, who we helped fully automate his YouTube channel, and he actually has an 8-figure fitness business. And you can check out his video by clicking right here.